This impressive formation, perhaps suggesting a turbine or a Catherine wheel, was laid down on the night of the 20th of April 1997. The crop is oilseed rape. My photos were taken some 3 weeks later in mid-May. The formation is below the ancient hill fort of Barbury Castle, some 6 or 7 miles south of Swindon in Wiltshire. This aerial photograph by Busty Taylor shows more effectively the 6 individual perfect crescents and the central hub. The diameter is approx 160 feet. This photograph was taken from the roof of the car from the lane. You will appreciate that with this small elevation the shape cannot be recognised properly. Note that the main crop blossoms are nearly finished, but the young side shoots from the laid stems are now full of a later crop of blossoms. This photo from within the formation illustrates how, since the 20th of April, the young side shoots are now full of later flower, which have grown upright from the still laid down parent main stem. There is a height difference of about 2 feet. This close-up of the formation floor shows how the thick solid stems are bent acutely at ground level. Note the side shoot starting to grow from the layered stem. The outer side of the bent stem is not fractured or cracked. To simulate physical bending, if it was done by human hand, constructing a hoax formation, I deliberately tried to slowly and carefully bend down an upright stem just outside the laid formation. The result, as you can see, was that the solid stem just snapped like a carrot when it was bent beyond 45 degrees, thus illustrating that the thousands of laid stems could not be flattened by crude physical force or feet or other weighty implements. The cross-section of a typical stem shows that the plant stem is full of solid tissue, not hollow, thus making the stem very strong and therefore harder to bend over through 90 degrees. The bent stem with its roots, which I brought out of the formation. This shows a closer view of the underside of the nodal joint at the base of the stem, at soil level. The underside of the plant stem wall is ruptured outwards with apparent expulsion of core tissue. This is the outer and uppermost opposite side of the stem, which is completely intact without any radial cracks. The base node is probably the strongest point on the whole plant, so how has it been bent over 90 degrees here? Another view of the reverse underside at the same scale. The next two pictures are at a high magnification of the ruptured strands of the stem wall with the empty cavities. One gets the impression that some form of local heating or torching by some form of energy has been applied, thus momentarily softening the tissue by a sort of cooking process. There is obviously a need for serious laboratory study of specimens such as these. I've seen plenty of video clips of people dousing cereal crop formations, but I'm unaware of anyone dousing oilseed rape, so I decided to take my own rods into the field. I started off outside the edge of the formation, standing in the tractor lines. My rods here are parallel and nice and steady. As soon as I stepped forward to the edge of the formation, the rods swung inwards, now parallel at 90 degrees. Six inches further forward, there is more twitching and swinging movement of my rods. I now move to another position within the formation, stepping from the edge further into the layered crop, this time facing the swath of laid stems. Now the rods have swung parallel through 90 degrees from the edge until they are lined up parallel with the stems lengthwise. I have here in my hand two plant specimens taken from the field with the formation. As you can see, the left one has got the magic bend from within the formation, and the right one in this hand is the control specimen I pulled from the corner of the field, which is at least 150 yards from the main formation itself. So I was very curious to know if there was any dowsing effect with a single stem, hundreds of miles away from the main formation and away from the thousands of adjacent stems. As you can see, 3 months later they are somewhat dried up and withered, but to my delight there is still an effect in this stem. So first of all, I'll put down on the floor the control specimen and we'll have a go at that. Take the rods, which are simply made out of two metal coat hangers, so anyone can have a go at this. And the idea is you have them steady over your hand, and if there's no particular effects, they'll be parallel and pretty much stationary. And Victoria would like to sort of move the stem about a bit, rotate it. So I'm not touching the stem, I'm trying to keep the rods as steady as I can. Okay. And there's no appreciable movement at all. So we'll now take away the control specimen and introduce the stem from the corner of the field. Sorry, the centre of the formation, or within the formation. And it takes about 10 to 15 seconds or less, and there the rods are crossing over quite strongly and they're going parallel to the stem. And Victoria would like to rotate the stem to 90 degrees. Immediately I can feel and you can see the rods are going parallel to the stem again. Now just to give you a repeat of that, we'll remove the stem again completely and we'll put it back 90 degrees to the rods, 90 degrees, please, that's it. And immediately, within a few seconds, 5 seconds, away they go. Very strong. So the question is, what is the residual effects or energy within the stem to cause this, particularly 3 months later? And nobody seems to know. Science doesn't even understand really how dowsing works for conventional things like water and metal. So it's a mystery. I have tried other things like a compass alongside it to see if there's any magnetic effects, and there is no change at all, no deviation of the compass needle. So other than checking for residual ionising radiations, which I'm not aware of anyone having done within the crop circle, I don't know what it is. So most people, just to end, most people can douse, but they don't realise it because they've never tried. But it's worth having a go. Good fun. Thank you.